The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Pooh Shiesty just got raided after violating his release conditions, and he'd only been out for 3 months. Behind all the first day out celebrations, this Memphis rapper was moving wild in ways that practically guaranteed his freedom would get snatched again. He was reckless, plain and simple. And yeah, the feds don't play fair. After he dissed them in his first day out track, a song that's already sitting at over 25 million views, they made sure to circle back and apply pressure. What really brought him down isn't even shocking. It's just something people don't want to admit. And today, we're breaking down exactly how he fumbled his second chance. But before we get into all that, let's run through what actually happened. This Memphis rapper was supposed to be enjoying his freedom when federal agents ran up and hit him with a parole violation. Now don't get it twisted, this didn't come out of nowhere. Dude been moving like his freedom didn't matter from day one, and that's where things start getting crazy. It's almost like he was daring them to take him back. For those who haven't been keeping up, Pooh Shiesty came home after doing just under 5 years of an 8-year sentence. The feds originally wanted to throw 20 years at him, but his lawyers managed to get it cut down. Still, getting out early on federal parole means you're on a tight leash every single day. When Pooh Shiesty first touched down, he was supposed to be on his best behavior. Federal parole is no joke, curfews, check-ins, and a long list of rules you can't break. But he was moving like nobody was watching. I remember when he was on Ben the Don's stream, and his parole officer called asking where he was. He was supposed to be home for curfew, but he was still outside. And it gets worse. He straight up lied to his PO while he was on camera. Ben had to mute the mic because he knew that was some dangerous type situation.
Oh. Yeah, Trey Williams, yeah, I'm at the house. Keep it all right. Just go, kid. Oh my God. Oh, no. You said what? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, man. Check it good. That's where I live at. That's where I live at. Refresh it. That's where I live at. Look. I ain't lying to you. I ain't playing no game.
You can mute the joint right now, Trey.
I don't play like that.
That's some truly reckless behavior right there. And the wild part is, this wasn't even a one-time mistake. Pooh Shiesty been moving like he was untouchable from the jump. He was all over social media, flexing jewelry, cars, and talking that street talk like he wasn't still technically a federal inmate unsupervised release. But see, this story goes way deeper than just missing curfew. Pooh Shiesty been low-key telling on himself through his own music. In one of his songs, he straight up said, "Out on paper, with a fully ARP sitting on my counter, and in the streets." We already know Pooh don't rap cap. When he says something in his bars, that's usually his real life. For those who don't know, an ARP is a fully automatic weapon, something you absolutely cannot have while on federal parole. Now here's the real kicker. As part of his release conditions, he was staying in a halfway house. Let me break that down for the ones who don't know. When federal inmates get released early, they don't just go straight home. They are placed in a transitional facility called a halfway house. You sleep there every night, follow strict rules, and slowly earn more freedom. It's meant to help you adjust back to society. But you're still under heavy supervision. In a halfway house, there's a curfew. You have to be back by a set time every night. You can't just come and go whenever you feel like it. You need permission to travel, permission for certain jobs. And you definitely can't be around other felons or known gang members. The whole point is to transition you back into normal life while keeping you on a tight leash. And when it comes to federal supervision, they do not play. State parole might let some things slide, but federal parole officers are trained to watch every move you make. They can search your place anytime, hit you with random drug tests, and if you violate even a small rule, you're going straight back to finish your sentence. For somebody like Pooh Shiesty, who's the CEO of Choa Gang, that supervision was supposed to be even stricter. The feds don't just watch individuals, they watch entire groups. When you're the head of something like Choa Gang, they're tracking everyone you associate with, everywhere you go, and everything you do. Now let's talk about how Pooh Shiesty even got into this mess in the first place. This wasn't his first run-in with the law, and his track record shows he never really learned his lesson. The case that originally sent him away involved some serious street activity. Back in 2020, Pooh Shiesty was tied to multiple incidents that caught federal attention. The main case involved him meeting up with someone, robbing them, and then shooting them during the robbery.
On just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail.
According to court records, this wasn't some random act.
And it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Island says you're wanted. With it.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested
or pursuant to an arrest.
This was part of a larger pattern of violent behavior that the feds had already been watching, and it didn't stop there. There's also the incident where he allegedly shot up a club after his money got taken. In that situation, he ended up shooting a security guard who was just doing his job.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars. A judge denied bond for 21-year-old Lontrell Williams.
Real talk. When you're moving like that in the streets, you're not just putting yourself in danger, you're putting innocent people at risk too. People who are just trying to make an honest living. The federal government built their case on multiple incidents, including armed robbery, assault with a deadly weapon, and conspiracy charges. They painted Pooh Shiesty as someone who went straight to violence instead of using it as a last resort. Prosecutors argued he was a threat to the community and needed to be locked up for the full 20 years they originally pushed for. His defense team fought hard to get that time reduced, saying he was young, had real potential as an artist, and could be rehabilitated. They managed to get it down to 8 years, which was still serious time, but way better than the 2 decades he was facing. When Pooh Shiesty came home, he had everything lined up. His first day out record was doing numbers. He was collecting plaques, driving foreigns, and even getting linked to India Love. He had a real chance to build something legit, but somehow, he still found a way to fumble it. That first day out track wasn't just music, it was a statement. He was letting the world know he was back, focused, and ready to take over the rap game. The song ran up millions of views, and for a moment, it looked like he might actually be a success story. The guy who learned from his mistakes and used his second chance to build something real. But behind the scenes, the streets were saying a different story. People close to him said he never really dropped that street mindset. He was still around the same crowd, still talking that same talk, and still moving like nothing could touch him. And that's the problem with federal parole. They're watching everything. Your social media, your music, who you're with, where you go. It's all under a microscope. When you're rapping about having automatic weapons while you're on supervised release, that's not just art, that's evidence. The moment that really had everyone shook was when Ben the Don broke the news on his stream. During a live broadcast, Ben got a call about the raid. You could hear the shock in his voice when he found out they came through and cleaned everything out. He tried to keep it quiet at first, but the streets were already buzzing. In the clip that went viral, you can hear Ben telling the caller, "You remember that bet when Buddy had this right here, and I told you he going to jail? He going back."
Remember that bet when Buddy had this right here? And I told you I was like, he going to jail?
Yeah.
He's going back.
2026 tells us this is most likely a parole violation, not brand new charges. If he had picked up new cases, he'd be facing extra time on top of his sentence. Instead, they're just making him serve out the rest of his original 8 years. Now the big question is, what actually triggered the raid? Was it the lyrics about having weapons? Was it being out past curfew? Was it hanging with people he shouldn't be around? Or was it something they found during a routine check? Based on how everything played out, it looks like the feds had been building this case for a minute, probably stacking up multiple violations. The curfew call on Ben's stream, the gun talk in his music, maybe even surveillance showing him with prohibited associates. And this goes way beyond just one rapper. This is about the cycle that keeps pulling young black men back into the system. When you come from the streets, it's hard to fully separate from that lifestyle, especially when that's what made you famous in the first place. The industry does the way he said it, made it clear this wasn't a total surprise. People who knew Pooh Shiesty's situation already saw this coming. But here's where it gets interesting. Ben later tried to clean it up on Twitter, saying the call wasn't even about Pooh Shy. He tweeted, "I understand y'all gotta get y'all money, but that's cap as F Shy ain't have a MF thing to do with that call." Whether he was trying to deflect or protect his homie, nobody really knows. But the truth came out anyway. And let's be real, that raid didn't just happen out of nowhere. Federal agents don't move randomly. They plan, they watch, they gather evidence, and then they strike. Based on what we know, they pulled up to his spot, found exactly what they were looking for, and took him into custody on the spot. Not long after, all the blogs started posting that Pooh Shiesty was back in custody. DJ Okadamix confirmed it by pulling up the federal prison records, showing his real name, Lantrell Donnell Williams Jr., his registered number, and his release date, April 11th, 2026. And that date matters, because that was his original release date before he got out early. So this isn't just about one small mistake. This is about a pattern that shows he never really took his second chance serious. The street's been talking about how he was moving since he came home, and it wasn't looking good. For those who don't really understand how federal parole works, let me break it down. When you get released early from federal prison, you're still serving your sentence just outside instead of behind bars. You've got strict conditions, curfews, regular check-ins, no weapons, no hanging with known felons, and absolutely no criminal activity. Break any of that, and you go right back to finish your time. The fact that his release date is back to April 11th, ain't help either. Labels want that raw street image. Fans want that real-life talk. Social media rewards the wildest behavior, so artists get stuck choosing between staying authentic and staying free. For Pooh Shiesty, his whole brand was built on being that street dude. Choppa gang, the gun talk, the robbery stories, that's what made him hot. But when you're on federal supervision, you can't live that brand anymore. You've got to evolve, or you're going to self-destruct. What makes this even sadder is the effect it has on his community and his fans. Young people look up to him, and when they see someone get a second chance and blow it, it sends the wrong message, like change isn't really possible. He had the platform to show kids in Memphis and everywhere else that you can mess up, pay your dues, and still build something legit. Instead, he became another cautionary tale. The financial hit is serious too. He was making real money, streams, shows, deals. All that stops the moment you go back in. His team, his family, everybody depending on him, is now stuck waiting while he finishes his time. And don't forget the legal costs. Fighting federal cases isn't cheap. His family probably spent a fortune getting his sentence reduced the first time. Now they might have to do it again if anything else comes up. The label situation is messy too. Labels invest expecting a return. When an artist gets locked up, especially for violating parole, that investment is at risk. Some labels cut ties. Others put projects on ice. Either way, momentum is gone. The real tragedy is this was avoidable. All he had to do was follow basic rules. Be home on time, don't have weapons. Don't rap about illegal stuff while you're still under supervision. Don't be around known criminals. Simple moves that would have kept him free to build his career and his wealth. Think about what he could have done with 3 more years of freedom, multiple projects, bigger tours, real business moves, a whole different legacy. Dropped more projects, built his label, invested in legit businesses, and really solidified himself as a major name in hip-hop. Instead, he's going to spend those years behind bars, watching other artists slide into the spot he could have owned. Halfway houses are supposed to help with that transition, but in reality, a lot of them are overcrowded, understaffed, and placed in environments that make it hard to escape the same influences that got you in trouble to begin with. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, who's famous and has money, that setting might not have given him the structure and support he actually needed. The parole system is built more to punish than to rehabilitate. Instead of setting people up to win, it often sets them up to fail with strict rules and harsh consequences. One mistake can send you right back to prison, even without a new charge. But at the same time, those rules exist for a reason. Federal supervision is meant to protect the community while giving people a chance to prove they've changed. When someone keeps violating, especially with a violent past, the system is going to respond. So what happens now? Pooh Shiesty is scheduled to be released on April 11th, 2026. If he doesn't catch anything new while he's in there, that gives him about 15 months to reflect, grow, and hopefully come up with a better plan. But the rap game won't wait on him. New artists will pop up, the sound will shift, and his momentum will be gone. Starting over in music is hard when you're young and unknown. It's even harder when you're older and carrying the weight of multiple arrests. His lawyers might try to appeal the violation or push for early release again, but that's a tough sell this time. Judges don't like seeing second chances wasted, and prosecutors will argue he can't be trusted in the community. The smartest move right now is to use this time wisely. Write, read, take classes, work on himself. When he gets out, he'll need to show real change, not just talk about it. The real question is what happens when April 2026 comes. Does he finally learn, or do we end up right back here? The hip-hop world is watching, and hopefully other artists in similar situations are paying attention. This story is bigger than just Pooh Shiesty. It's about choices, second chances, and how hard it really is to change when everything around you stays the same. For young people watching, the message is simple. When you get an opportunity to change your life, take it seriously. Don't let pride, pressure, or image cost you your freedom. Success means nothing if you can't enjoy it. For other artists on supervision, this should be a wake-up call. Federal parole is not a game. The rules might feel unfair, but breaking them will cost you everything you worked for. Pooh Shiesty could have avoided all of this by staying focused on his music and following basic release terms. Instead, he moved like nobody was watching, and now he's back where he started, behind bars. The saddest part is, he had everything going for him. Talent, opportunities, resources, people who believed in him. But none of that matters if you don't make the right choices when it counts. So what do y'all think about Pooh Shiesty's future in hip-hop? Do you think he'll really change when he gets out? Or is this the start of a longer cycle? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you subscribe for more updates in hip-hop news. Real talk? This is a lesson for anybody on parole or probation. Your freedom is a privilege, not a guarantee. Don't fumble the bag over street credibility that isn't worth the years you'll lose. Stay focused, stay free, and let your success speak louder than your past. The streets will always be there, but opportunities like the one Pooh Shiesty had don't come around often. When you get that chance to change your life, grab it and don't let go, because once it's gone, it might not come back. That's all for today, fam. Stay solid, stay out of trouble, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Remember, the streets are always watching, and so are the feds.